Which Scot began his football management career at East Stirling in 1974? In H. Rider Haggard's novel, She, what is the name of the title character? Celine, Layla, Aisha. Before decimalization, how many pennies were there in a pound? 120. 2. What word links a marine flatfish in the bottom of the foot? Halibut, sole, plice. Who played Rose's fiancé Cal Hockley in the Hollywood blockbuster, Titanic? Billy Zane. Which of these creatures does not have scales? Springer Brittany and Field the breeds of which dog? Retriever, Spaniel, Terrier. Which of these former child actors is the oldest? Which of these films did not star Bill Murray? Ghostbusters. In bingo parlance, which number is clickety-click? 66, 55, 44. Which of these is the name of a tree? Crate, box, carton. Which of these battles took place the earliest? Battle of Hastings, Battle of Bosworth Field, Battle of Stamford Bridge. A dough slinger is someone who makes what Italian foodstuff? Spaghetti, pizza, tiramisu. Which of the Marx Brothers never spoke on screen? Which of these adjectives refers to the throat in humans? Which of these? Which pioneer of the telephone died in Nova Scotia in 1922? Syntax is concerned with the arrangement of what? Atoms, musical notes, words. Which of these is a 1966 French film starring Anouk Aimée? Young Man with a Horn, A Man and a Woman, Breathless. Which of these nicknames was applied to singer James Brown? Godfather of Soul. What sport is known as soccer in many parts of the world? Hockey, rugby. Which of these UK patron saints' days takes place in? Which of these bones is not found in the wrist? Which of these things appears in the Royal Mail logo? Crown. Lily Allen's, LDN. Which of these battles took place furthest north? Marston Moor. Skull is a collective noun for what animal? Focaccia is an Italian variety of. Tinker Bell is the fairy friend of which literary figure? Peter Pan. Which of these French cities is a... Who played Cleopatra in a 19... Elle Macpherson is best known as which of these? Which of these is a fish and not a mammal? Roughage is another word for what part of the diet? Fiber, protein, fat. In the Bible, Cain was a farmer and Abel was a what? The term, bovine, refers to which of these creatures? Horse, cow, sheep. What does the DC represent in DC? Which of these is not? Clouds Hill was whose Dorset home? Bernard Montgomery, Wilfred Owen, T. Lawrence. Which of these US presidents took off the abbreviation? A frontal lobotomy was performed on what organ of the body? What color is the flesh of a ripe cantaloupe melon? What is the largest UK city south of London? Holly Willoughby was a team captain on what ITV2 quiz show? In 47 BC, which Egyptian queen gave birth to Ptolemy Caesar? Rhododendrons thrive in what type of soil? What is the national currency of Tunisia? What is the national currency of Tunisia? Sol, rupee, dinar. In the US, getting the 411 feet refers to getting what? Fans of which American actress call themselves Fanistons? The euphonium belongs to what section of an orchestra? Which noble gas is named after a Greek word for lazy? Which noble gas is named after a Greek word for lazy? Neon, argon, krypton. The average cast spends what proportion of the time parked? Which sitcom character owned a cat called Vienna? Which sitcom character owned a cat called Vienna? Audrey Forbes Hamilton, Del Boy Trotter, Rupert Grigsby. Associated with doctors, what is griffonage? In Norse mythology, what animals pulled Thor's chariot? In Norse mythology, what animals pulled Thor's chariot? Deer, wolves, goats. What is the official tree of the US state of California? The hertz is a unit of what? State cars used by the king are what color? State cars used by the king are what color? Blue, claret, green. Which Mr. Men character lives in a teapot? Which Mr. Men character lives in a teapot? Mr. Funny, Mr. Topsy-Turvy, Mr. Nosy. In what part of the body is the glottis located? What is the main ingredient of the Indian dish, biryani? The Tunisian sheshir is a type of what clothing item? Harry Wayne Casey led which hit group of the 70s? One Liberty Place is a skyscraper located in what US city? What two-word slang term describes swimming while naked? In rugby, a player sent to the Symbian spends how many minutes there? 10. Rodin's statue, the Thinker, was originally meant to represent which Italian? Galileo, Dante. George Clooney starred in a 2009 film called The Men Who Stare at what? Women, clocks, goats. What sort of pie, with a hand-formed crust, is made in Melton Mowbray and has a protected status? Apple pie, cheese pie, pork pie.